A drone flies over a remote mountain range and captures something no scientist can explain. What begins as a routine flight turns into a chilling discovery. Strange geological formations, unexplained movements, and a location steeped in ancient legends and forbidden myths. From eerie shadows on the cliffs to patterns that don't appear on any official map, patterns that defy logic, this mountain has stunned experts and terrified locals for generations. Is it just a natural wonder, or something far more unsettling? Join us as we reveal drone makes chilling discovery on mysterious mountains no one can explain. You won't believe what it captured. Number 10. Mount Roraima. First on our list, we travel a long journey to the high, remote reaches of the Guyana Highlands, where Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana meet, and there towers a giant of stone, Mount Roraima. This is no ordinary mountain you've ever known. It's a fortress in the clouds, a tabletop titan, walled off by 300-foot cliffs so steep, it's like nature slammed the door and threw away the key. Locals call it the House of the Gods, and trust me, it's earned the name Heaven on Earth. For centuries, it has been wrapped in whispers of ancient beings, vanishing explorers, and creatures you won't find in any textbook. Scientists say it's been cut off for millions of years, a lost island in the sky, where plants and animals evolved in ways the rest of the world has never seen. But here's something even more surprising. The indigenous Pemon people believe it was once the trunk of a cosmic tree that held every fruit in existence, until it was cut down, unleashing disaster across the planet. Climb to the top, and it's like stepping off the map. Perpetual mist, black stone towers that look like the ruins of another civilization, and glass-clear pools so still they feel like portals. Some say time works differently up there. Hours vanish like smoke. Others swear they've heard voices in the fog, low and distant, as if the mountain itself is sizing you up. And yet, most of Roraima remains uncharted. Scientists leave with more questions than they came with, because here the line between myth and truth is thinner than mist. Number 9. Devil's Tower. In the wide, empty stretch of Wyoming, something rises from the earth that doesn't look like it belongs. A massive, cylindrical tower of stone. So strange, it feels like it was dropped here from another world. This is the Devil's Tower, and if you think it's just a weird rock, you might want to think twice. This mountain has been at the heart of legend, fear, and quiet government silence for generations. With its perfectly vertical walls and unnaturally flat top, it looks less like a natural formation and more like a man-made monument, or worse, something not made by man at all. Scientists slap labels on it like laccolith. But let's not kid ourselves. Devil's Tower isn't just a mountain. Native American tribes like the Lakota and Kiowa tell ancient stories of a giant beast chasing children and a sacred force lifting the earth beneath them to keep them safe. The deep vertical grooves carved down its sides are said to be claw marks from that battle. Even today, many tribes ban climbing during spiritual periods, calling it a place of power or punishment. And the strange stories don't stop there. Climbers report odd vibrations, sudden disorientation, and even lost time. Some say they've heard low humming from deep inside the rock, almost like it's breathing. Planes flying overhead report instrument failure, while locals whisper about lights hovering above the summit and figures moving where no person should be. The government calls it a national monument, but certain parts of the tower remain mysteriously off-limits, with rumors of hidden entrances, sealed chambers, and underground structures no one wants to explain. Number 8. Rainbow Mountain. High in the Peruvian Andes, where the air grows thin and time feels like it stands still, there lies a mountain so surreal, it looks like it was painted by the gods themselves. Locals call it Vinicunca, but the world knows it as Rainbow Mountain, a geological marvel that defies all logic and has even been the subject of mystery podcasts, including mentions on shows like Joe Rogan's, where guests questioned if nature really works that way. With its vivid stripes of red, gold, green, and turquoise, the mountain looks like a layered cake baked by the earth. But no one truly knows how such perfect bands of color ended up so high above sea level. Scientists call it a mix of minerals and erosion, but that explanation doesn't hold much water when you see it with your own eyes. How could something so delicate, so perfectly striped, survive earthquakes, snowstorms, and centuries of brutal weathering, and still look untouched? Local Quechua communities believe the mountain is sacred, a living entity pulsing with cosmic energy. And maybe they're right, because trekkers have reported dizzy spells, vivid hallucinations, and even sudden emotional breakdowns, as if the mountain touches something deep in the human soul. And this part will shock you. Rainbow Mountain didn't even exist on global maps until just under 20 years ago. The ice caps that once covered it began to melt, and what lay beneath was a sight no one expected. Scientists say it was always there, just hidden under snow. But the real question is, what else has been hiding under those ancient layers, waiting to be seen? Number 7. Mount Kailash. Deep in the remote Tibetan plateau, rising like a divine dagger piercing the sky, stands Mount Kailash, a mountain so sacred, so untouchable, that no human has ever set foot on its summit, and maybe that's no accident. Villagers say it's the center of the world, a beautiful axis where heaven and earth meet, and where the physical world ends, and the spiritual realm begins. The mountain is perfectly symmetrical, its 4 sheer faces aligned with the 4 cardinal directions, and snow never seems to linger on its peak, as if the mountain refuses to be touched. Climbing it isn't just forbidden, it's believed to be spiritually fatal. According to ancient texts, those who try to ascend Mount Kailash either age rapidly, fall ill, or vanish altogether. And here's the eerie part. Explorers who've attempted it often report exactly that. One group of Russian scientists reportedly observed a golden energy field around the mountain, something they couldn't explain, and never returned to investigate again. The Bon, Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain religions all revere Kailash as the home of the gods. From Shiva's throne to the palace of Demchok, the embodiment of supreme bliss. So why do so many ancient cultures warn us not to climb it? Satellite images reveal strange patterns etched into the landscape. Some claim they resemble an ancient labyrinth, or even a buried structure. But to this day, no one has ever reached the top, not because it's impossible, but because it's forbidden. Number 6. Ayers Rock. In the heart of Australia's vast outback, rising from the red earth like a sleeping giant, lies Ayers Rock, or, as the indigenous Anangu people have long called it, Uluru. This isn't just a mountain or a big rock, it's a sacred monolith, a place wrapped in legend, shrouded in mystery, and feared by those who dare to challenge it. Towering over 1,100 feet above the desert floor, Uluru has long been considered forbidden to climb, not because no one can make it to the top, but because it's believed to be cursed. According to ancient stories passed down through generations, the rock is home to powerful spiritual forces, and disturbing them can bring nothing but misfortune. Climbers have reported sudden illness, disorientation, and an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the rock is alive and watching. Over the years, hundreds of people who took pieces of the rock as souvenirs later mailed them back, pleading for forgiveness after experiencing strings of bad luck, sickness, or even death in the family. Scientists call it coincidence. The Anangu call it karma. They warn that the spirits of Chukupa, the Dreamtime, still walk the surface of the rock, guarding its secrets. In 2019, climbing was officially banned, but stories continue to pour in from those who went up anyway and never felt the same again. Beneath its fiery red surface, Uluru holds a silence so deep, it feels like it's listening, and perhaps. Number 5. Adam's Peak. We traveled to one of the most remote countries in the world to uncover another mysterious mountain. Hidden deep in the lush highlands of Sri Lanka, rising above the clouds like a sacred arrow pointing to the heavens, stands Adam's Peak, a mountain so cloaked in mystery, even science struggles to explain its secrets. Known locally as Sri Pada, or the Sacred Footprint, this 359-foot peak has been a place of worship, wonder, and unanswered questions for over 1,000 years. At its summit lies a giant foot-shaped impression, carved into solid rock, and no one can agree on how it got there. Buddhists say it's the footprint of the Buddha himself. Hindus claim it belongs to Shiva. Muslims and Christians believe it was left by Adam when he first set foot on Earth after the fall. But here's where it gets strange. Geologists have no concrete explanation for how such a precise imprint could naturally form at that altitude, or why pilgrims from every religion are drawn to it, as if called by something unseen. Climbing Adam's Peak isn't just a trek, it's a test of spirit, with thousands of stone steps leading through dense forests, echoing with bells, chants, and the sound of wind that seems to whisper your name. Climbers report a strange light phenomenon just before sunrise, a triangular shadow cast perfectly over the clouds, pointing backward toward the earth, as if the mountain itself is trying to mark something long forgotten. Number 4. Mount Sinai. Baked beneath the unforgiving sun of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, there stands a mountain that seems to hum with something ancient, something otherworldly, known as Mount Sinai. This jagged peak isn't just etched into holy texts, it's etched into the minds of all who've dared to climb it. Locals say it's a place where the veil between worlds grows thin, where the divine once descended in flame, and where the mountain itself still carries the weight of commandment and consequence. But this isn't just a tale from scripture. Hikers and explorers, even today, speak of strange sensations as they ascend, a feeling like the ground is pulsing beneath their feet. Some say they've felt watched, followed by shadows that don't belong to any living thing. Others claim to lose chunks of time, waking from trances with visions they can't explain. The higher they climb, the heavier the air becomes, as if the mountain is judging them, measuring something they don't even understand. In places, compasses fail, batteries die, and silence falls so thick it feels alive. Even nature pulls back. No plants, no birds, just bare stone and whispers in the wind. While many still make pilgrimages to honor its legacy, there are those who return changed, quieter. Could it be just exhaustion, altitude, and suggestion? Maybe, but maybe not, because Mount Sinai, hidden in the desert of Egypt, has never fully given up its secrets. Number 3. Mount Matterhorn. On the jagged border between Switzerland and Italy, one peak stands like a broken spear, piercing the sky, the infamous Matterhorn, towering at over 14,000 feet. This sharply carved mountain isn't just a postcard-perfect icon, it's a graveyard in the clouds. With its 4 steep faces pointing in each cardinal direction, the Matterhorn lures climbers with its beauty and then turns deadly. Over 500 people have died trying to reach its summit. Many of them were experienced mountaineers who vanished without a trace or were found frozen in impossible positions. Locals whisper that the mountain is cursed, that it chooses who gets to survive. Many climbers say they've heard screams echo through the ice when no one else was near, or seen ghostly figures just beyond the ridgelines, only to watch them vanish into the mist. Weather changes on a dime here. Blue skies shift to blizzards in minutes, and seasoned mountaineers report lost time, flickering vision, and the unsettling sense that the mountain is somehow alive and testing them. In 1865, during the very first successful ascent, 4 climbers plunged to their deaths. Their rope mysteriously snapped, though it had shown no signs of weakness. That same rope, frayed and stained, now hangs in a Swiss museum, and no one has ever been able to explain why it failed. It's not just the altitude that takes your breath away here. It's the overwhelming feeling that you're not supposed to be there. Because some peaks aren't just hard to climb, they're built to keep you out. Number 2. Mount Olympus. In the heart of northern Greece, where myths were born and gods once ruled the skies, rises the towering and terrifying Mount Olympus, a peak so mysterious it continues to haunt climbers to this day. Standing at over 9,500 feet, Olympus isn't the tallest mountain in the world, but it might be the most unexplained. Ancient Greeks believed it was the home of the gods, a place so sacred and powerful that mortals were never meant to reach its summit. And even now, in the age of GPS and modern climbing gear, the mountain seems to fight back against those who try. Sudden storms, vanishing trails, and bizarre acoustic echoes plague climbers who swear the mountain changes while they're on it, like it doesn't want to be known. Locals whisper that Zeus still watches from the clouds, and that the mountain itself is alive, guarding something we were never meant to find. Trekkers have reported seeing figures in the mist or hearing voices speaking in languages they don't understand. But the eeriest stories come from those who return, changed. Some say the mountain has haunted them ever since, as if they saw something they weren't supposed to. Mount Olympus has claimed many lives, not just through falls or frostbite, but through unexplained disappearances in areas marked as safe. Strange light phenomena, magnetic interference, and whispers of sealed chambers beneath the rock only deepen the mystery. Scientists call it psychological stress, but in Greece, people call it a warning. Number 1. Zhangjiajie Pillars. Deep in the misty heart of China's Hunan province, we uncover the famous and mysterious Zhangjiajie Pillars, towering stone spires that seem to defy both gravity and logic. Stretching more than 3,000 feet into the air, these vertical sandstone columns pierce through the fog like the bones of ancient giants, standing silently in the Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Locals have long believed the pillars are not just natural wonders, but living guardians of the land, connected to ancestral spirits and hidden realms. Some villagers even claim the formations shift ever so slightly, not enough to notice in real time, but enough to feel as if the mountains are slowly, consciously moving. Scientists argue that the formations are the result of erosion, water, and time, but that doesn't explain the near-perfect symmetry, or why some pillars appear completely disconnected from any base rock, hovering like floating towers. In fact, many believe these formations inspired the floating Hallelujah Mountains in James Cameron's Avatar, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. The landscape looks less like Earth and more like the backdrop to a dream you were never meant to remember. Despite being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, large parts of Zhangjiajie remain unmapped, and even drone flights have mysteriously failed over certain peaks. Scientists can offer theories, but the pillars themselves remain silent. And maybe that's the message, that some places weren't meant to be explained, only respected.